Yo, day 5 of the 21-day challenge. And we are just wrapping up with nutrition boot camp week. So this one is going to be a goodie. Again, if you haven't posted in the community group, I want to hear your takeaways from what you've heard so far in this 21-day challenge. Specifically, we're talking about the boot camp. Also want to hear about those workouts. Don't worry if you're feeling a little bit sore. We're going to spend a little more time on recovery tomorrow, talking about some of my favorite stretches so that you can feel a little less in pain if you are feeling a little sore. So, again, post in the community, especially about this stuff today. So this is good. Make sure you're taking notes. Here are the 5 common mistakes that I was making with my eating before I really started getting serious. Once I did, I started getting the fat loss results that I wanted, and I just have kept it off. So number 1 is consistency. We go back to the pre-training about consistency. That's that execution piece. So if you didn't know that it takes about 3,500 calories if you're in a deficit of 3,500 calories in 1 week, you're going to lose 1 pound. Now where it comes into consistency, I kind of made a little chart like this. So is your day something like this? Where Monday, you start off, you're a rock star, trying to do this backwards. Here we go. Monday, you start off rock star, you're minus 500. So basically to hit this 3,500 calories, you need to be in a deficit of 500 calories every single day. So is this like you to where Monday, you start off minus 500. Nice. Tuesday, you also hit minus 500. Nice job, 2 days in a row. Wednesday, you did well for 2 days. You're on shift. You just see that cookie, that donut, or I just got grab something quick. It's all right. You're still minus 200. Thursday, though, you didn't pack your lunch. You're going call to call to call. Yeah, grab something at the gas station. You're stressed. So you just go over minus 500. Over 500 calories. Friday, you're like, well, crap. Thursday was poor, so I gotta get back on track. You're down 500. But now it's Saturday. It's your weekend off. And, you're with your friends and family. So you're like, well, I've been doing good this week. You decide to turn a cheat meal into a cheat day. So you're over 1,000 calories. But then now Sunday, if you're feeling a little hungover, you're feeling guilty. Now you're you just want to catch up from the day before. So you just go down 1,000 calories. Well, if your typical week looks like this, you're only going to be in a deficit of 1,200 calories for the week, which means that you're only going to lose about 0.3 pounds that week. If you continue that for a month, you're only going to lose 1.2 pounds. So I guess I kind of laid out in that illustration that you might look at this and you might be like, well, I hit Monday, Tuesday, Friday, how I made up Saturday, how Wednesday I still was in a deficit. So I was good for 4.5 days. Yet it was the 2.5 other days of the week to where you're only losing 0.3 pounds. So number 1, that was for me to where that I was just inconsistent. Especially how many of you to where especially it's your weekend off, you bust your butt Monday through Friday. And then by the weekend, you just throw it all away. And that way, then again, you're just not able to see the weight results you want, or it's like a roller coaster. So number 1, you need to write down of how, what's getting in your way of your consistency. It could be work, it could be family, it could be one of the things that we talk about. Number 2, one of the things that the nutrition mistake I was making when I wasn't seeing the fat loss results that I wanted was that I was very vague when I said, I just want to eat healthier. So if a coach would ask me okay, what are your eating goals? I just got to eat healthier. Well, that's very vague. Yes, we can cut out and I mean, perhaps you've done this already so far, where like you've cut out the obvious stuff. You cut out the soda, you've cut out the junk food, you've cut out the fast food, and you're going to see results from that. But like just eating healthier, like while that is, you're going to see progress there. At a certain point, like your body's going to respond to where like, okay, like input, or you're outputting, taking out all this other food, you're going to see a result. But then it comes into the third mistake of like what worked before isn't going to continue to work. So just by, okay, I just cut out the sugar, I cut out the fast food, I cut out the chips. By eating healthier, it'll get you to a certain point, but then your body just adapts. If you were to follow just say like calories, for instance, just because like I've used numbers because sometimes it's easier for us to relate. If I would say like I ate like 2,000 calories and I'm like losing weight, losing body fat, at a certain point my body's going to adjust to it, and I'm not going to lose the body fat. And then I'm just going to get frustrated. So I have to keep making adjustments. Well, you have to realize that by you doing a 2 by 2 by 2, hopefully you're seeing the results with it. But at a certain point, it may not work anymore. So where do we go from there? So that was the third mistake that I made, was that like what got me results before, I just kind of kept it. I expected it to work all the way through until it didn't. And then I got frustrated. And then I just gave up. Number 4 was that times where I'm not tracking. All right. Because it's easy like to track your workouts, right? You're tracking, I mean, like you're only doing one workout in a day, and it's easy to track that. And, so like one, like if you're not tracking your food by, like taking photos, or if you're not counting calories or macros. And sometimes, like, what stopped my fat loss, sometimes it's easier to track, like, hey, like if I'm having my 3 meals a day of, while I'm having those 3 meals. But maybe I'm not maybe I'm just skipping over the condiments I used. Maybe I'm skipping over the soda or the lemonade or iced tea that I had in my squad car, or I'm skipping over the a handful of candy in the squad room, or that we're snacking. So we're just kind of guessing, and we're not truly tracking of like how much food that we are putting in. So like, is that, a mistake that you're making, that you're not tracking every single thing that's going into your body? And are we missing those things? Because again, to hit that 3,500 calorie deficit, you need to be at minus 500 calories every single day. Well, it doesn't take much for like a handful of snacks over here, or a bottle of juice soda over here to mess that up. And number 5, the fifth mistake that I was making when I wasn't seeing the fat loss results that I wanted, was that I wasn't accountable to myself. I wasn't accountable. Okay. So like if you're going out, if you're having meals with your partners, I mean, they're not the ones going to hold you accountable to, like what you're, if anything, that, they're going to almost make fun of you for being the person who's like eating a salad, while everyone else is having burgers. Perhaps, it's harder for your spouse or family members to hold you accountable to what you are eating, because again, they love you. They love you for how you look and how you are, and they don't want to hurt your feelings. So like if I wasn't holding myself accountable, when I wasn't holding myself accountable to like what I was putting in my body, and I just felt like, I can just work it off later. Well, too many of those times, then, like I just wouldn't see the fat loss results as quickly as I'd want. So I want you to write down, like between those 5 things, again, recap. Number 1 is that you're not consistent enough. Okay, number 2 is that you're just trying to get by of just eating healthy, and that's very vague, and then it can lead to number 3 is that like what worked before continuing isn't going to work for you in the future. Or number 4 is that you're not tracking everything, and number 5 is that you're not accountable to your eating, or you're the only one to hold you accountable, and no one else is. So write down, like which mistakes, post in the community of which mistakes that are likely for you, and then like what questions that you'd have, or like what action steps that you're going to do to make sure you're not making those mistakes. I'll see you tomorrow.